Co-founder and CEO of Pinterest is out, and we have been calling this one for almost 2 years. Check out why. Some more I told you so. Article here out of Pinterest. Pinterest CEO shakeup. These guys like to claim that they said that Ben Silbermann, the co-founder and CEO of Pinterest, was expected that he would leave. No one could say they were surprised that Ben Silbermann is stepping down as CEO of Pinterest. I read the information. I report on the information on this show. This is not what the information was saying at all. That's something we've expected for a while. No, that's not true, Martin. People just lie. Now hindsight's 2020. So you look at our reporting on these things, right? In which now the information says, oh, this is obvious. Maybe they're saying it was obvious as of like 6 days ago because Pinterest literally hired his replacement, and it's in the securities filings that they hired this Google exec, Bill Reddy. So maybe that's why they're saying it was obvious as of 6 days ago. But if you watch this show, it was obvious as of 2 years ago that this guy needed to go. And then they say, oh, well, look at all these past events. Silbermann was criticized for moving too slowly on decisions. We talked about how, their M&A slowed down. They were looking to buy companies, and then they dragged their feet, and then they lost the deals. We've talked about their failure to move into commerce. Instagram beat them and, is farther ahead in monetizing their social media platform and getting into commerce. How did Instagram beat you, right? And then this is when I first called that Ben Silbermann was the problem, and everyone reported on this thing, and no one actually attributed blame back to the CEO. We did. I'm going to show you the video. I think she was like the COO, this Francois Brower, might be butchering the last name, or she wrote this Medium post. And, talking about all the cultural issues inside of the company. This was August of 2020. So almost 2 years ago. You heard it here first, gang. Here it is. Here's the clip.
You need a different CEO. I mean, there are a spectrum to these, founder CEOs that are able to grow with the company and manage a business with over 10,000 people in it, something like that. We saw one end of the extreme of that with Uber and Travis. Crazy cultural problems, but it is a very difficult thing, right? To be there in the early to mid stages, and then now you have this big company, and you've had certain executives that you've been in the trenches with for years, and it's difficult stuff to do. Doesn't mean, hey, maybe Ben doesn't need to exit the business entirely. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying the guy is trying to do something, egregiously or is like grossly negligent or deliberately trying to hurt the business that all of his net worth is tied up in, right? What I'm saying is, as a CEO, doesn't sound like he's a good CEO from this post. Could he be like a really good head of product? Probably wouldn't want to do that, ego, or could he be like a good chairman? Or if you look at what the Google founders did, Larry and Sergey, right? Like they kind of just worked on like cool stealth projects, right? But they let Eric Schmidt and now Sundar, run the business as that professional CEO.
August 2020, that was the first story with the former Pinterest COO. And I read that. You can go check out that video. Boom, we called it back then. We also continued to call it here. Pinterest failed to spend $500 million to go buy a company that does commerce. They're trying to go buy this company called Verishop. Turns out that maybe PayPal was going to buy Pinterest. And then the thing with PayPal falls through. They call back a Verishop and say, hey, Imran, let's do the deal. And then they got turned down. CEO's problem. If they're not able to go and do their own product innovation, then you got to go buy stuff. And maybe that can give you growth. But they're not able to do either now. And then 2 years ago, you got the COO leaving, talking about all these cultural issues. Seems like a problem with the CEO. So they couldn't do commerce internally. And then they tried to go and blow $500 million on this company. And the company told them to go to hell.
So they just can't do commerce for the life of them. They can't build it and they can't buy it. It's their path to the promised land and they cannot figure it out for the life of them.
But we have called this thing 6 different ways from Sunday and we got it right all the way to the bank. Damn, we nailed that one. See ya, Ben. Maybe the board watches our videos, right? And in that case, board, you're welcome. But you should have watched the video from August 2020. You know, that would have saved you a year and a half and you would have been able to go buy that company and be able to made a bunch more money. The funny thing is, this photo of him, the information used for this, I was at this luncheon. This is at the Economic Club in New York. And I listened to the guy speak there. Was not impressed. If you like this video, easy. Just go watch the video from August 2020 when we first started to call the Ben was the problem and need to exit the company.